Hey everybody, welcome back. Northernlion plays the Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus. I just want a normal run, grounded in reality, full of real-world problems. Great rate of fire, just kidding. Bad rate of fire, great damage. This run's got the tools. It's got the know-how in the elbow grease to carry us to a new land. It wasn't a Tenacious D reference, it's Tenacious E for egg. Because that's what you gotta be, a tenacious egg. If you're gonna live the modern Isaac life where they start you out with some trash. Like, oh, I want a good run. What can you give me, game? Oh, here's an idea. What about Isaac's heart rate off the bat? I know I said I wasn't mad on the last episode. So sue me, I lied. I was trying to figure out a way to make a reference between So Sue Me and, like, Bob Izumi. You know Bob Izumi? You don't know Bob Izumi? The famous bass fisherman on Canadian television, Bob Izumi. I know you're saying, isn't that what the dude said in the 1995 Super Nintendo game Out of This World, also known as Another World? Mites Aruba. That's what he says. Don't be offensive. Bob Izumi is a television bass fisherman. It's called art, sweetheart. Look it up sometime. Anyway, what am I talking about? I don't know. I asked for a normal run. What do I get? Health up, health down. Up to sundown, see where the bad guys are to be found and make them lay down. Get quite a lot of battery charges as well. I want trinkets. You can make... I'll smelt it even though it's horrible. You can make a good run out of just trinkets. For real. It sounds sarcastic. It's not. If we get... I was just going to say if we fight famine here, but unfortunately that's obviously come to pass. That will not be the case. But if you get an orbital, nod leaf, the world's your oyster. We can afford the wait. Lots of great trinkets. All stats up, tears up, damage up. Orbitals shoot homing tears. That one's not that important, but it is like, you know, it's in the forefront of my mind because we just had it recently. If you don't mind, I would like you to give me a tears upgrade. I don't mind HP. I don't mind damage. I don't mind an all stats upgrade. Wouldn't mind $100 million either. What do you give me? Polydactyl. You may be noticing that wasn't in the line items listed on Form 17A that we're asking you to remit during this year's taxable year. I'll give you one chance. Dude, I'm going for it. Hook me up. We're doing this in the wrong order. We should play you first, because you can give us HP. And if you don't give us HP, we can use our red hearts on the blood bank. Nah. We can use our red hearts on the blood bank to get more money to have a better chance to get HP. Okay? It's a start. You may pay out. You didn't. I'm gonna do this one time. Oh, we already know it's a range upgrade. Okay, so we get some more money. Toss it in here. Fair enough. It's still early. We got very little to complain about. We already got an HP up. If we could get... I mean, what deals with the devil are we likely to get here? Sin robes would be a nice, like, modest pickup that would help out. Synth oil is basically in the same camp. That's a huge get for me personally, without making it game-winning. You know, the extra damage up is real nice. I mean, you're one-shotting these guys, or apparently not. Two-shotting these guys, still. It's an encouraging situation to find yourself in. I don't know why I'm talking like such a nerd now. Dude, the human body, I'm here to declare it, okay? Aubrey de Grey? You might think, is that an adult film star? No. It's the British pseudoscientist spearheading the war against senescence, aka bearded dude who looks like Rasputin, trying to make sure that human beings no longer die. You've got my full support. I did a seminar on you in my senior year of university. The jury really seems to be out, to be honest. People have thrown around the phrase pseudoscience, playing God, dubious scientific rigor. But, like, I'm ready for my robot body. If you and Ray Kurzweil and, I don't know, Elon Musk or whoever else is wasting their life on Twitter right now could just get on that, I'm tired of my body, just in general, but even more so, like, being colonized on a regular basis by other organisms. Like, what a cool twist of fate. I feel bad for human beings, honestly. I mean, let me make this extremely clear, by the way. Human beings are awesome. I mean, there are bad people, absolutely. But whenever people are like, oh, I hate humans, I'm like, we're sick, dude. Yeah, you know, Jeffrey Dahmer's out there. Well, I mean, he's not anymore. He was killed in prison. But he was out there eating people. I don't support that. But I think I can say, like, you know, human beings are cool without necessarily having people jump down my throat for potentially endorsing a serial killer known as Jeffrey Dahmer. I am an idiot, but we still have a 100% deal with the devil chance. Why? I don't know, but I'm not going to ask questions. Get me out of here. There's still a blood bank back here, right? Who cares? Let's get this 100% deal with the devil chance first. I don't know why we didn't take damage there. Maybe I stood still long enough for us to just barely block the damage via Nod Leaf, but I didn't think so because our dude went, but I don't know, maybe it was close enough that it didn't matter. But human beings are sick, but I also feel bad for human beings because we've tricked ourselves into thinking that there's some higher pursuit to our lives beyond just, you know, surviving itself. Other creatures out there, you know, if you're like a gazelle on the African savannah, you get eaten. You ever look in the eyes of them on the, like, nature documentaries, Planet Earth? They're dying. In their head, they're like, that's how it goes, baby. I'm not gonna sweat it too much. I knew what I was signing up for when I started living the life of a gazelle. Human beings, we attach all this weight to this. So I'm down here, I'm stressing out. Oh, what Wizard of Legend has overstayed its welcome. What video games am I gonna play? Meanwhile, a little virus has lodged itself deep in my throat, starting to eat away at my pharynx, Adam's apple, etc., etc., reminding me I'm just lucky to be alive in the first place. Play some Wizard of Legend, enjoy yourself, stop and smell the roses a little bit. Anyway, I don't really know what I'm talking about, as always. Remember, there's a tinted rock. That tinted rock, until recently could have paid dividends, but now will unlikely do so because we've already compromised our deal with the devil chance to a large degree. Oh well. Bombs. No bombs. Lovers. Dude, absolutely. I thought I had a tangent I was going on. Anyway, you can look it up. You know, there's all sorts of people preoccupying themselves. Ray Kurzweil is like a 60-year-old former inventor and predictor. You know, he's like a modern-day Nostradamus, which is a really weird job. It's the kind of job I guess you can't really have when you're like fresh out of college, right? Because you haven't been around long enough to make predictions. But, you know, Ray Kurzweil, he staked like his entire credibility on the idea that he's going to live long enough for like what's known as the singularity to take place. And the idea behind the singularity is like, you know, man and machine will merge. And it's predicated on a law known as Moore's Law, which essentially says that, you know, every 2 years the number of transistors you can fit on the same size microchip doubles, and this is why we end up with like this insane degree of processing power now. You know, we have computers now in our pockets that are stronger than the strongest supercomputer was 10 years ago, for example. Well, maybe not 10 years ago, but you get the idea. Anyway, so he takes like 1,000 pills and supplements a day. He's otherwise healthy as far as I know, but you know, he's trying to keep himself as healthy as possible so he can live until the singularity. The idea in his mind being, if you live until the singularity, you can live forever. I understand, that's a noble goal. You know, you could either die now or live forever. Tough choice. I have another question for you though, Mr. Kurzweil. Is it worth living forever if in order to live forever, you gotta go into immortality as a big friggin' dork who takes 45 fish oil pills a day? I rest my case, Your Honor. I believe I've dunked on the defendant, and I'll be taking my legal winnings to go, please. I would rather be a nerd forever, absolutely. Eternal life is one of those things, it's like, I'm way more bearish, you know, skeptical, let's say. I'm way more skeptical about the future than a lot of people. I'm not pessimistic. I'm just skeptical. So when people say, like, hey, when do you think self-driving cars will be the norm? I have friends of mine that are like 5, 10 years, dude. And I'm like, 40 years. Have you talked to anybody with gray hair over the past 30 years? They're not always all about this self-driving cars idea. And they're driving like 80% of the cars on the road. So I'm just a little bit more bearish in my predictions. I don't think eternal life is going to happen in our lifetime. I don't think we're going to hit that kind of biological escape velocity. Dude, great item. But, and this is a recurring thing that I bring up from time to time, I'm going to be real cheesed. But let me put it this way. If I have to die, I hope everybody watching this video, you don't have to die with me. Like, I'm not going to be like, let's all go out together, like a Jonestown situation. But I hope that we're all sharing in that shared experience. If you're watching this and it's 300 years in the future, first off, thank you. That's very flattering. Secondarily, you don't get to watch this. You don't get to share in our experience of that lifelong anxiety you have about the fact that, you know, you have to ascribe meaning to your life very early on because one day you're not going to have it anymore. If you're 15, you've been recently born into a world in which you can live forever, just frig off. Go away. You don't have my permission to watch this anymore. I'm mad. Yeah, I'm mad. It's not that I want, like, the next generation to die. That's a pretty terrible thing to say. I just want... Let me put it this way. There's a very easy and, like, pseudo-mathematical way to explain this. If anybody, when I die, lives forever, anybody alive on planet Earth lives forever after I die, that's a failure in my mind. When I die, if 10 years later the first baby that will live forever is born, that's cool with me. I wasn't even close to the window. What I don't want to have happen is I'm like, tell the kids I love them, sweetie. Beep! And then, like, immediately a doctor runs in and is like, hey, just doing my rounds. We got the death vaccine. Oh, no. You know, just slightly, you missed out on immortality. I want to miss out on immortality by, like, a large margin of error. I don't want it to... Like, I'll even say it. I don't want my kids to have immortality. Because that'll be messed up. Can you just imagine the smug look on their faces? They, like, say goodbye to you. With them knowing, like, whew, dodged a bullet on that one. Grandkids, that's fine. Little bundles of joy. Kids, no. Absolutely not. Also, I'm always, you know, I bring this up from time to time. Whenever people are very excited about the singularity... The idea that, you know, oh, you can put your brain inside of a computer and just connect to the internet via a microchip in your head. I'm like, that sounds horrible. First off, I rely on not being able to access the internet. For my sanity. And I mean that sincerely. This is actually 0% a joke. When I leave... This is an honest-to-goodness fact. I saw a stat that said something like the average millennial, and I don't mean with a capital M and a 4-letter word millennial. I just mean, like, as a demographic, the average millennial checks their phone something like 95 times a day. When I wake up, I check my phone. I bring my phone in with me to the bathroom. While I defecate, I read some news, okay? Then, I put my phone down, I get to work, and then at bedtime... This is most of the time. I pick up my phone, and it still has the news article I was reading while I was taking a dump. It's because I live an atypical life. Not because I'm a scholar, but because I already spend so much time on the internet, I feel a need to be disconnected as opposed to connected. I don't want a microchip in my head. Secondarily, you think malware's bad now? Wait until they install a Bitcoin miner in your brain. You're like, oh, why is my memory fuzzy? Oh, well, you remember that dodgy website you went to? Something caught your eye? Congratulations, now you have a Bitcoin miner installed in your brain. Someone's got to get in and poke around in there. No, thank you. I at least don't want to be the first cohort of people to sign up for that. I'm not just being like, DAE, Black Mirror. I'm just trying to, like, on a genuine level. I think they could probably iron it out, but I don't want to be there on the, you know, the cutting edge. Same thing with self-driving cars. I love the idea of self-driving cars. I think, you know, occasionally people will, whenever I bring it up, they'll bring up news stories like, what about that self-driving car that hit that dude? And I'm like, don't you see? The fact that everybody knows about the story where the self-driving car ran over that dude, it just goes to show you how safe the self-driving cars are. When some old dude mixes up what pedals the gas and what pedals the brake, crashes into the front window of a 7-Eleven, everybody just goes, yeah, of course, business as usual. When a self-driving car makes an error, everybody loses their freaking minds. That's how you know it's going to take over. But even still, I don't want to be in a self-driving car, you know, year one of them being on the road. Like right now, you can get a Tesla, more or less drives itself, right? Let's just head down to the next floor. I don't want it. First off, that's the only reason I'm not getting it. It has nothing to do with the fact that it's like a $200,000 car. It has everything to do with the fact that, like, that's a very reasonable amount to spend on a car. How much does a banana cost? $10? It's more that, like, it's the same with airplanes, you know? Like, flying now is insanely safe, but it wasn't always that way. There's like 40, well, probably like 70 years where when you went up, I'm not saying there was a good chance you're not coming back down the way you want to. I'm saying the chance was non-negligible. Planes were, even when I was a kid, like once a month there would be a news story about like an American or a European airplane going down. I want to buy into the technology at like where aviation is at now. That's my idea. I want to be safe. But I guess I might not have a choice. Like, if I'm 80 years old and they're like, dude, you're so jacked, how do you do it? And I'm like, I don't know, I just kind of sit around. They're like, okay, but anyway, all envy aside, you're probably going to die soon. Like, do you want us to put your brain into the computer, or do you want to pass away the old-fashioned way? That's a tough one, man. I don't know. I think I might have to go for the computer at that point. Hopefully they'll modulate me or update me as time goes on. It's a scary frontier, though. But again, I don't think we'll necessarily get there in my lifespan. And the reason that I think that is because we still don't have printers that work consistently. Still companies on Earth that are using fax machines. You know, so I think we got a long road is all I'm trying to say. But I don't know, it really makes you think we're on the cusp of some pretty amazing stuff as far as technology goes. I don't worry about this HP, who cares? You know, when you were in like 1950s America, you're like, wow, are you excited for the future? You might have a car that flies. That's so pedestrian. You're alive 2018. Are you excited for the future? We might be able to put your consciousness inside of a robot body and you can live for friggin' ever. Really makes you look like an idiot if you chose to be born in the 1950s. Unless it never comes to pass, much like the flying car. Because you asked politely, I'll say my thoughts on the flying car, even though you already know them. It's been articulated by people smarter than myself myriad times in the past. I hate the concept of a flying car for many reasons. One is, car accidents are bad enough, very scary, before you factor in, you know, potentially falling in a half-ton chunk of metal from maybe 50 to 100 feet above the surface of the road, hitting every single car on the way down. Secondarily, people already can't drive in 2 dimensions. I know, I mean, you drive in 3 dimensions if you count hills and stuff like that. You get the idea. Don't be needlessly pedantic. It's a bad look. Please, sir, I want some more damage.
Puberty. Pretty
like that Toyota, or that story I was telling you about the elderly people crashing into the storefront windows. It actually happened. It was like 6 years ago. It said Toyota brake. Well, now it's like long ago. Toyota brake controversy. Let's try that. 2009, 2011 Toyota vehicle recalls. Involved 3 separate but related recalls of automobiles. Wait. Just give it a second. On February 8th, The NHTSA, in collaboration with NASA, released its findings on the investigation of Toyota brakes. They found no electronic defect. Driver error or pedal misapplication was found responsible for most of the incidents. The report ended stating, "Our conclusion is Toyota's problems were mechanical, not electrical." Okay, well actually, I was a little bit wrong about this, by the way. And this is why I like looking this stuff up. This is why, I looked up the hold your Wii for a Wii thing, and I was like, isn't that lady an idiot for dying in that stupid way? Nah, it turns out, radio station did her real dirty. They didn't do their due diligence, and as a result, that negligence, led to her being at risk, and eventually contributing to her death. Turns out, a lot of them, it looks like, were driver error, but some of them were mechanical error, like a pedal becoming stuck to the ground. It just wasn't an electrical issue, so fair enough. I'm just saying, dude. People already, by and large, suck at driving, and moreover, they all think they're great at it, which is the worst part of it. What is it? The Dunning-Kruger phenomenon or whatever? The worse you are at something, the less you recognize how bad you are at it. You don't possess the skills to know how stupid you are, and as a result, you think you're a genius. It's basically us playing NHL 19. Dude, why is this run still cursed? It was that D8 roll. The dastardly D8 roll has done us in. I beg you. Do more damage, please. I have to drink this water. It's so hot in here. Oh my god, it's 31, it's 31 degrees Celsius in here. Allow me to open my door for a second. Hello, Ruka. It's too hot. I'm caught between a rock and a hard place right now. My wife wants me to keep the air conditioning off because she has a cold. Which is fair. But meanwhile, the inside of my office is like Jumanji right now. And not like the winter part. I'm talking about Welcome to the Jungle, Season 2. I need cards. That's what it comes down to right now. I hate to say it, but I need a little bit more. I think that's a gulp. That is IV bag. Health up, even better. Okay.
Health up.
I need like Emperor cards. I need something to carry me through. Just weird things to think about. That's what this episode's all about. Weird things to think about. Like, as much as Detroit Become Human, and I'm not using this as an opportunity to dunk on the game, because let's be honest, Detroit Become Human is better than any game I've ever made in my entire life. That doesn't mean, it's above criticism, because I think that there's a lot of that game that's real friggin' silly. But simultaneously, I recognize that, as a creator, that means taking risks. Sometimes your art is going to be viewed unfavorably, because it's kind of silly, and that's the price you pay. A lot of people really like Detroit, more power to you. And I mean that sincerely. But as bad as I thought Detroit was, it did raise some kind of like semi-interesting philosophical questions, At what point does artificial life become real life? Is it when for some reason they start to take a motherly interest in another android that's not really explained? I digress. I'm gonna get myself in trouble here. I'm just saying, why did he own 2 androids? That's the one thing that gets me every single time. And the thing that people always say, I'm not spoiling anything. There's about 1,000 he's in this game. People always say, they give me an excuse that you're probably thinking of right now. Well, he was under stress. Nah, doesn't make any sense. You gotta budget better, dude. Visit r/personal finance. You're spending too much of your monthly budget on androids. Sorry, it's getting very hot in here. I don't get loopy when it gets hot. I just get angry. Start becoming more and more incensed in my opinions. Well, I do want to try this. My mistake. We definitely do not need to pick up Mom's purse because We already have an infinite purse by way of trinket smelter, which is barely being used. I should have used that a lot earlier. Not that it really matters too much. Our rate of fire is just killing us, dude. Please pop it. Like, actually completely screwing us. We have Perthro, Onsus, Awaz, and an Empress card. Get rid of health down and take Onsus with you. And then please, if there is a benevolent god in the universe of any denomination, I will convert for a Tears upgrade via a 36% deal with the devil chance here. Alright, I will convert and donate for the 1% chance at a deal with the devil or angel here. We should have popped the Empress earlier, no question about that. It is my own fault, by the way. This is not a cursed run, necessarily. Me choosing to use the D8 once, and then going back with Trinket Smelter instead of rolling with it for something more zany. And also, like, let's be honest, probably just better. Is a big part of this, but still... I do feel a little bit like, you know, what a terrible night for a curse, if you know what I mean. Because I'm, you know, fellow gamers, Castlevania, you ever hear of this one? I'm kind of feeling the heat right now, in more ways than one! Get out of here! Well, we got a Spirit Heart. We got the Polaroid. And we got the jazz, Dude, this article about 2009 to 2011 Toyota vehicle recalls is of staggering length on Wikipedia. I know what I'm reading during tomorrow's bathroom break. By the way, don't ew me. It's not like I was going to give you my phone anyway. If you ever meet me in public, it's not like I'm going to be like, here, hold my phone for me. Come on. I'm very, very famous. I can't give you my phone. That's where all my two factors are. At least we're getting an all stats up here. If you don't read your phone when you're pooping, you're a liar. That's all I'm going to say about that. What do you have a magazine in there? Okay, what year is it? 1973? I don't buy it, is all I'm trying to say. Everybody reads their phone while they're pooping. The only case where I'll see a little legitimacy is if your poops are so short that you choose not to bring your phone in with you willfully. I will understand that. I will understand. Yeah, that was terrible. For many reasons. But let me count the ways it was useful. First off, if you're a dude, where's your phone? That's right, pants pocket. What are you bringing in with you to the bathroom? Your pants. I think you see where I'm going with this. So case number one, your phone's already there. Second case scenario, if you're sitting down for 5 minutes, it's like the perfect time to respond to a text from your mom and say, I'm fine, thank you, how are you? Nothing wrong with that. It's good to... She doesn't know you're pooping. I wouldn't talk to her on the phone while I'm pooping. I think that would be a breach of mother-child privilege. She doesn't need to know. But a text, who cares? 9 lives? Gimpy, you could save me. You could be my hero, baby. I'm just saying, stop being such a prude. You know how I know people are prudes? I wash my hands when I go to the bathroom, okay? But sometimes, Twitch chat razzes me. And they go, when you wash your hands, you're supposed to wash it for the length of singing the happy birthday song twice. I understand that. I've heard that before in my life. Then I was in the bathroom with a dude. Not like that. We just happened to be in the bathroom at the same time. Not that there's anything wrong with that, except for the fact that if it was in a public bathroom, you know, this kind of like you got to ask the other people in the bathroom how they feel about it. Anyway, I'm getting down a tangent that is irrelevant to the situation. And he was humming the happy birthday song as he was washing his hands, but he was humming it as fast as he could. He was going, you know, if you don't realize why that defeats the purpose, you got to learn to think more critically. You got a little Dunning-Kruger going on. It's not the act of singing the happy birthday song twice that casts an eldritch spell that protects your hands from being infected with germs. It's the fact that by washing them for that long, you know you've done a reasonable shot to, like, you know, do your due diligence and get all the germs sloughed off that you conceivably can. So if you're one of those people who's like, he didn't wash his hands long enough, you gotta wash it long enough to sing the happy birthday song twice. I want you to time yourself the next time you do it. It better be, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. I'm not a good singer. If you're doing, happy birthday, Mr. President, happy birthday to you. Not okay. You're doing something you don't understand the reasons why. That's all I'm saying. That's how I know there's a bunch of hypocrites out there about cleanliness. No! I didn't think he'd come back to life. What? How did I dodge through you and somehow still get hit on the backside? So the sun card, I mean, there's a lot of positives. Let's just be honest. The fact that we picked up Sack Dagger is insanely good. Still got, I'm not sure if you noticed, a lot of problems on this run. Mostly of, like, my own creation. But can you blame me for not wanting to use my tears very much anymore? When you consider the fact that, you know, we shoot them oh so rarely? You know, we've been saddled with these tears for our entire lives. Now we finally got a high-octane vehicle to do better. I want to take advantage of it. 2 Spirit Hearts. Dude, don't mind if I do. We should be rolling now. My sickness excuse is starting to wear off, so I gotta be... It's so hot. It's just oh so hot in here. It's not Vancouver's fault, by the way. If you're gonna use where I live as a chance to shame me, first off, join the friggin' club. Secondly, it's not that hot in Vancouver. It's relatively pleasant outside. The problem is that I'm in this office with no ventilation because I'm a gentleman. I gave my wife the good office. An office with a window and a little bit more space. So I'm in what essentially amounts to like a shoebox. And I like it because the acoustics are pretty good. But simultaneously, you know, there's some problems associated with it. Namely, because it has no exterior-facing window. In fact, no window at all. And it's very small, and there's a computer in it. It gets real friggin' hot. Something we'll fix in our next living arrangement, hopefully. Have a little bit more. We do have air conditioning. I've already established that. I've dealt with that objection. Next question. Go ahead, hit me 3 times. See if I care. Fool me 3 times, I won't get fooled again. I'll tell you that much. I'm just like, I've had it up to here with this run. I'm not going to throw the game under the bus because I think it's probably given me a pretty good chance. And we'll probably win. But there is a little bit of trash happening on this run. If you deny that, I think you're being intellectually disingenuous. Dude, absolutely. I'm so happy to see Shoop to Whoop. Don't even start with me. Once every 2 rooms, we have range and damage for the first time in our adult lives. And I'm in love with this. Now, High Priestess. Pardon me, I haven't really thought about how I'm going to handle that. I also basically do lose out on some stats. Because we're not going to have common access to a full charge. So our illuminated bulb is not as good as it otherwise would be, but still. You know another thing that can go frig off forever? Is Curse of the I don't know where you're going. I'm just in an ornery mood when it comes to Isaac. I'm in a good mood otherwise. You know, I'm feeling okay for the most part. Worse than I thought I would feel by today, but way better than I felt like 3 days ago. So I'm trying to, you know, small victories. I don't know about anybody else, but when it comes to like the year, as an adult, the year has like a rhythm to me. January to June tends to be very stressful. Let me explain why, okay? And it's going to be a little bit of inside baseball. First, YouTube ad revenues tend to be down. So you're working the same amount of hours, you're making potentially a lot less revenue. Secondarily, tends to be a dearth of good game releases compared to the other months. It doesn't mean there's not gems to be found. It does mean the releases they tend to be a little bit slower, okay? Now this year is a little bit of a different story because we had like God of War and stuff like that. Next is cold most of the time. It starts to get better around April or something like that, but still. Thirdly, you know, it's tax season. Basically January to April, and sometimes, you know, like up to June, depending on, you know, what kind of structure you got going on, is tax season. Taxes are very stressful. If you get it taken out of your payroll, it's annoying. If you have to, you know, do some accounting at the end of the year and be like, I might owe the government, well, the government might own me, or they might own me. Well, technically they do, I guess, but they might owe me a lot of money, or I might owe them a lot of money. There's a huge window that's very stressful. You can ask any, like, content creator about it that's been doing this for a few years. They'll tell you. It weighs on your mind. Once June and July roll around, you know, it's the summertime and the living's easy. Also, like, January. My wife's birthday. February. Valentine's Day. May, our anniversary. Those are not bad events. Those are not things to necessarily be stressed out about, but you got to pay attention to the fact that, you know, you got gifts. You know, once every couple of weeks you got a gift-giving situation, which can be a little bit stressful. Unless you do what I do and just go, yeah, what do you want? Here's a bowling ball. Don't say I never did nothing for you. That's not how it goes. So I'm happy that we've entered into the 6 months of the year that I like a lot more. I mean, what is there to like? From July until December? My birthday, Christmas, start of hockey season. Classic video game magnum opus release window is like October to December. Revenues go back up on all your platforms. The weather does get colder towards the end of it, admittedly, but still. Those are my months, dude. Give me the second half of summer, fall, and a little bit of winter. If we're getting a 6-month sampler platter. You may disagree. Admittedly, a large chunk of this stress comes from it being my birthday. You know? If my birthday's in a 6-month window, I'm happy with it. I don't even do anything on my birthday, for the most part. Kate will always be like, what do you want to do for your birthday? And I'm like, I don't know. Eat out. She'll be like, where do you want to eat out? I'm like, I don't know. Where do you want to eat out? That's like half a joke. Any other people been in a relationship with their significant other for a long time? There's a great tweet that I saw. It was like, being married... Let me do that again in a different voice. Being married is basically just asking another person over and over where you want to eat until you both die. And there's I mean, that's an abstraction of reality. Sometimes people go like, oh, that's so sad. That's such a sad picture of married life. What are you talking about? We eat sushi all the time. We eat banger meals like non-stop. It's a dream come true. If I was living by myself, I'd be eating 2 tablespoons of peanut butter for dinner like every second night. It's a dream. You have to do a little bit of compromise. It's communication that makes the dream work, baby. And you know what? Sometimes we go to a place, she's like, I'm going to have a taco salad. And I'm like, yeah, me too. Then we get there, and I'm like, surprise, I'll take the chorizo torta. Pulled one over on you. I get a cheat meal. Either way, thanks for watching. I'm going to go lay down in a bath of ice. Wake up, hopefully, with both of my kidneys still intact. If you enjoyed the episode, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.